Well, good morning everybody, and welcome to the Core Club. My name is Steve Barrett, I'm the Editor-in-Chief of PRWeek. It's nice to have a crowd that actually comes in on time and to order, so thank you for doing that. Hope you enjoyed your breakfast, and we're looking forward to a great morning. This is the first PRWeek Influencer Summit that we've held, and we're doing this in partnership with LinkedIn, so we thank them for their support.
I just sort of name it because it's sort of the elephant in the room, is that you're doing something that's deeply psychological when you're saying you've got to show your humanity and authenticity. You've got to be able to say, I don't know. You've got to be able to say, I screwed up. I mean, think about why Jamie Dimon. I mean, any other organization going through what they've gone through, he would have lost his job. He's just so real. He's just so likable. He's just so authentic. He says, you know, we screwed up, we were terrible, I was dumb. And people keep on coming back to him because he bleeds realness. And that's going to hold him in very good stead. It has. I mean, he is the absolute poster boy for realness.
So the hardest part is getting them out there in an authentic way, in a way where their humanity shows, saying something that might be difficult without having their point get across before it is dissected and torn apart. And there's good reason to be cautious in this environment.
You have to be okay with the idea of losing control. And this is obviously, speaking to a crowd who works for folks who don't like to lose control at all and like to make sure they're controlling the message at all times, but you can't. These days, you cannot control the message. The best you can do is hope to try to guide them.
And once you create a conversation, the words are much more meaningful. If you can get people talking and sharing and putting their own spin on it and their own perspective, and fact-checking, telling you why you're right, what you've written is right or why it's wrong, everyone benefits. You start getting to the truth, which I think is what you always want in traditional media.
Probably time. I mean, CEOs, their primary focus is managing the company and making sure that employees are happy and that the stock price is doing well and that we're doing everything that we should be for our customers. So everything beyond that is additional. And whilst it is incredibly important and they recognize that, we're all busy with our jobs and sometimes things can fall by the wayside. So, time is probably the biggest challenge, certainly not desire.
Well, I think the important thing for CEOs is to do something that's meaningful. There's nothing worse than proposing something that wastes time. CEOs don't have a lot of time. There are a huge amount of pressures on them to actually do things that are relevant. The other thing that I think works well is the fact that you can actually do this in a way that actually helps them get portrayed as thought leaders, because that's what people are interested in hearing about. It isn't a set-piece Q&A question and answer program. It really is an ability to actually talk about topics that they're passionate about and that are going to resonate with their audiences.
As Susie said, there's always somebody doing something bad, and it's always going to get the media's attention. But I think there are many, as she said, many more people in business who are much more oriented toward truth, justice, and the good fight, want to do good in the world, and people want to be part of enterprises that are doing good in the world.
And one of the things we did, which it isn't that innovative, but it worked really well, was we picked out specific employees who had either done things or were doing things that exemplified what we wanted our culture to be, and we put posters of them all over our buildings, and it turned like individual employees into celebrities within the company.
Putting that perspective together, getting, as Roger says, focus on the vision, the strategy, how we're going to move through this, giving people that hope that, yeah, things are tough today, but we've got the right people around us, we've got the right focus, then it generates a level of hope and the organization will pull itself through.
In a sense, everyone is now an influencer. We've always been about influencing the influencers, which were considered to be the mainstream media, thought leaders, that sort of thing. Now everyone's an influencer. And so building relationships right down to the individual level with people who become believers in the enterprise and become advocates for it with their influential group, their peers and people like them, is critically important.
Because at the end of the day, what are you trying to do? You're trying to form a relationship and have a meaningful conversation with people that mean something to you and your business.